Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Scandal Panel. Can you handle the scandal? Well, as you can see, we have a green theme going on today because, as Laganja says, if it ain't green, I ain't interested. Okay. So we have another partial lockdown starting tomorrow. Okay, well, so let's talk about this. How does everyone feel with the current situation of the COVID, the vaccination status, the restrictions, and the impact that it has on our jobs and our lifestyle?
People are still very confused about the stay home quarantine that's happening now. And I like the way there was some news about how those who are doing the stay home notice, they are advised not to call Ministry of Health, MOH. I'm like, and everyone's saying, if you don't call MOH, who do you call? The worst thing, they just said, don't call MOH, but they never give an alternative. Like, who do you call? Right. So the other thing also is that they said, oh, yes, we understand because of the situation, everyone is so overwhelmed. Yes, telephone lines are overwhelmed. But can you imagine if you were in a telco, in a call center, like our dearest Jonathan in a bank? You think those phone lines are not overwhelmed? You think can you imagine if you AKA go and get a new system by Singtel, and then Singtel says, sorry, our phone lines are overwhelmed, so if you've got any problem, don't call Singtel. How would you all feel? Right. Who is not overwhelmed at this moment? And the thing is that, I mean, for us in our jobs, if you tell us not to do something, give us an alternative. Everyone's saying, you tell us not to call, and who do we just suffer at home? Who do we ask questions to? Right? What are your thoughts?
One thing for me is like I feel the government has actually already been inseminating that the so-called message whereby there's this rules that's ongoing, which is possibly they assume that it's our responsibility to actually disseminate that the screenshot around. So things like what the rules and where we should eat, whether gyms are open, whether officers should be kept, all the information is right there. Like the number of people that be working. So basically, what happened last week was that we received an office email stating that how the number of people should come to work, and those people who are not of that certain amount should just strictly work from home instead to minimize crowding in office spaces and such. Because as such, this is just to comply to the rules. So again, we have people who are clueless about, who sometimes don't check their phones, so they could be clueless about this, or they would not have friends who circulate the message. So in this case, right, how do you actually spread the message without having to get calls being bombarded? So again, now this is something that we need to think about, whether should it be disseminated through media, it should be ongoing, it should be told strictly to media outlets like televisions or radios just to inform. But again, not many people watch television or radio in order to be informed. So where could they get the information from? Or because sometimes newspaper also can't be too current, because a lot of times news are often printed days ahead. Unless you talk about breaking news, then they usually will leave like the front page news to the very last minute. But usually printing of newspapers, right, will be take at least 36 hours in advance. But that again, last minute rules sometimes may not really necessarily be kind of immediate. That's to my opinion.
Everyone has inquiries. That's the thing. Everyone has something to ask, you see. Inquiries, there must be a place where people can answer questions, because it's about stay home notice. Like if you suddenly get sick after the third day, what should you do? If you get really ill after the fourth day, what should you do? There's so many things that people can inquire around, which is not disseminated in the broad rules and regulations, you see.
All right. Well, for me, right, I try to come from a place of understanding. So, as much as I am being inconvenienced with my work, with my lifestyle, with these restrictions, I can see why we have to do this. There's one thing that I'm rather confused about. you know, as someone who's working in the performance arts and in the midst of staging a production myself, it says that the current guidelines for live performances are unchanged. So thankfully, the shows that have been planned are still allowed to go on the way that they have planned based on the previous guidelines. However, rehearsals can only be conducted with two people at a time. So if you have a cast of 10 and a total cast and crew of 20 people, how are you going to rehearse with two people in the studio for a show that features 10 performers and another 10 more people backstage?
Yeah, I do understand where you're coming from, Stephen. So in this case, that's where I've also done production. I was a director of my music video. So basically I'm handling a cast of at least, 6 or sometimes even more than 10. So according to the IMDA rules, right, as long as within a vicinity itself, an enclosed space, if you're a business entity, in this case, it's your production company or your so-called your music house, about 10 to 20 packs, especially for Vaxx, are allowed to so-called do rehearsing, but of course, to comply by the rules, they will have to take an ART test every 14 days, which means once every 2 weeks, you're supposed to take an ART test in order to sustain, but that's under compliance because let's say if people want to do spot check, right? They want to see the results to see whether you guys have been complying with the rules or not. So in this case, for a theater company or even a production venue like this, right? Whether you're rehearsing, if let's say if it's anything that's required on stage, I believe acting and singing, you have to require to go for an ART test on the
Well,
spot.
yes. This is the restrictions prior to the new set tomorrow. You see that takes place tomorrow. The new regulations that take place tomorrow. It's not whether you have ART or not. It's that two people are allowed in the rehearsal studio, regardless of your vaccinated status or not. Whether you're masked or unmasked, whether you're singing, blowing instruments or not. It's two people in the studio. So if you have a show that's opening next week, right? That has 10 performers, right? You can only rehearse with two people. I mean, based on the guidelines that NAC gave yesterday. Yeah. So I'm confused as to how that may happen. Thankfully, the show that I'm producing is not taking place within this period. It's not until next year. Hopefully, fingers crossed, they'll have more time to think it through.
Well,
All
in
right.
that case, I'm not so sure because I will be catching a performance this coming week with the OISG guys, and it's Forever Young. So in case of you, those who have not watched it, do try to get the tickets. Again, with this whole new rules, we do not know how's it going, but I've heard great reviews about it. So put that aside. Basically, I did check with the organizer. So literally, what the situation is going to be about. They said that as it doesn't really affect as audience because we will still go as per normal. But on the other hand, the performers or the staff themselves will still have to take their ART every day, regardless whether you're vaccinated or not. So it's kind of like the show will go on. About rehearsal, I do not know because again, you want to talk about rehearsal, it was applied the same as you're performing on stage, right? Because it's also as good as you. So again, you cannot contradict the two. So how can you say just because you only can rehearse with two person, that means on performance, if you have let's say more than two, you cannot have that because you're enclosed in the same area. So it doesn't make sense, but they still allow performance to go on as usual. So we shall see how it goes.
Guys, what are your thoughts about our current vaccination? The problems that we have with being vaccinated versus non-vaccinated and so
And
on.
boosters. I'm very confused about to take boosters or not take boosters. Those people who are so adamant about taking boosters is because they feel they want it. But then you get news reports where they say it's not required or the boosters will even make it worse. So I'm really confused about this.
It seems to be
Yeah.
a little all over the place, right?
Yeah,
well,
it's
my
really
mom,
all over the place. Yeah.
My mom has her appointment made for her booster shot. Yeah, so I hope it'll go well, and I suppose it's better to err on the side of caution.
And this is
since
the
they're
only
giving it out. Yeah, since they're giving it out, might as well take lah.
And this is the for only over 60, right?
Yes. For now, for now.
For now.
Because they are the earliest batch to take the vaccination. Yeah.
So those below 60 don't need to.
I think eventually we'll have to, but a lot of people are kind of against it because of the whole Like, what is this purpose? Like, does it really, really help? And speaking of which, also because there's also a lot of controversy that I've experienced just recently, that I would really like to share this, YouTube video that I came across, and I believe it's definitely by Project Veritas, because they are the so-called the whistleblowers of the truth. And from what I know, that usually liberal leftists or the so-called establishments are usually against this group of people because they are very afraid of being exposed. So somehow I have felt this group of people, Project Veritas, are very legit group of people because they have actually exposed real scandals, whether it's this fake news media or the political aspect of US. So recently they just released this video. It's a very spine-chilling revelation. Okay, right now I'm going to share this screen with you, and even for viewers out there, I believe this video is going to be taken down by YouTube because of censorship, knowing the algorithm. Look at it, guys, and let me know what your thoughts.
So how do we know that the blood clots, or how do you know that the blood clots are a result of the COVID vaccine?
Because this is a 15-year-old, normal weight, healthy child. No reason for him to have a blood clot.
It's a shame they're not treating people. I know, like they're supposed to, like they should, and I think they want people to die.
And how many have you seen that have gotten vaccinated here?
That got sick and side effects? A lot.
A lot.
Have you seen it too? Yeah.
Yes,
So,
and I'm like, who's writing the VAERS report?
Nobody, because it takes over a half an hour to write the damn thing.
Right.
The CDC website, it says that you're required to report adverse events following vaccinations. Is there a policy at the hospital for reporting these complications? No.
There's never been any directive sent out on reporting. With this vaccine, we are in stage 3 clinical trials. Normally, stage 3 clinical trials is where you gather your data. What the responsibility on everyone is to gather that data and report it. And if we're not gathering that data and reporting it, then how are we going to say that this is safe and approved for use?
How come after 18 months we haven't had any research? Isn't that fishy to you?
It doesn't.
It does. It is
doesn't.
It's super fishy.
Not that it hasn't been done. It hasn't been published.
It hasn't probably been done because the government doesn't want to show that the darn vaccine is full of shit.
What does she mean by full of shit?
It's not doing what its purpose was.
And what is Dr. McGee saying in that video?
He's trying to defend the vaccine.
Why would he do that?
Because that's his view on it.
Okay.
His view is get the vaccine, it's science, right? If we all just get it, this will all be over with.
Such a bunch of bullshit.
Why are you choosing to blow the whistle? It's not what a lot of people would do. They're scared, they're afraid.
What prompted me to do this was when I was house supervisor one night, and one of my co-workers had taken the vaccine, and she didn't want to. She had went throughout this entire pandemic working in the intensive care unit. Pretty much was a COVID unit.
Yeah, it's really sad. She had just come back from surgery, from leave. 2 weeks ago, a little over 2 weeks, and then got her first dose of vaccine after surviving this entire pandemic.
And she was coerced into taking it. And it's like, nobody should have to decide between their livelihood, being a part of the team in the hospital, or take the vaccine. Now we're just making people take it, and then there's reactions to it, and then you have a medication that has been shown effective and surely has no adverse reactions for trying it.
Did Dr. Bakwa talk to you about prescribing ivermectin for?
Not a lot at this facility.
And so physicians can't prescribe off-label use medication here?
Not for COVID. They did it with hydroxychloroquine, and they it was really bad, and so they are not allowing it right now.
She said, yes, I would agree to write for this because she's not contraindicated. And
Dr. Bagua said that?
Yes.
I am stuck. I am told you are absolutely not to use it under any circumstances whatsoever for somebody with COVID unless you don't want to have a job. I am not going to lose my job.
Damn.
They were not allowing, they were going to lose their job if they allowed you to use that drug.
Right. Nuts. Right now, what is plaguing this country is the spirit of fear.
Are you afraid?
It's my career, you know, it's how I help people. But am I afraid? I wouldn't necessarily say I'm afraid because my faith lies in God and not man. So I have 2 older kids that are on their own, and I have a 12-year-old at home that I care for on my own. You know, like, what kind of person would I be if I knew all of this? This is evil. This is evil at the highest level. You have the FDA, you have the CDC, that are both supposed to be protecting us, but they are under the government. And everything that we've done so far is unscientific.
Are you afraid they're going to retaliate against you?
Yeah. I'm a federal employee. What other federal employees do you see coming out?
But you put your faith in God.
So what, guys, what do you think of your thoughts of that?
Okay, firstly, I'm always very confused. There's so many brands of vaccines. What brand are they talking about? That is the thing that we have to deal with. Moderna, Pfizer, Sinopharm, Sinovac. I'm like, that's already so confusing. So when they say the vaccine works, do they mean all the vaccines, all the different brands? You can get another brand for your booster. Do you read that one?
Yeah.
Where it's better to get another brand for your booster. I don't know whether it's advertising from the different
Apparently
brands.
they say that, for Pfizer, right, the 3rd booster is causing some heart palpitations for elderly patients.
Yeah.
So especially if you're an elderly, if you take the 3rd booster shot, it's been feared whether, like, you know, whether some of them can able to handle, because the 3rd booster shot could be quite potent.
Yeah.
Because it's really quite bad. Especially my mom just took her Pfizer 2nd dosage. And knowing my mom is allergic to a lot of medication, therefore, initially, she was very afraid of not wanting to have the vaccination. But it's true, after much convincing and after her going through some series of blood tests and, you know, some medical examination, so she decided to, you know, go for it. And obviously, after her 2nd dosage, she keep complaining that she's she couldn't walk. She's feeling very faintish. She's having nausea. She's always can't walk. I thought that maybe she's just her trying to gain attention because given her old age. But then again, I cannot just discount that because some people cannot handle it. Like I have a friend who's just 4 years my senior. She couldn't handle her 2nd dosage, Pfizer. And she's like, oh my goodness, I'm so painful. I couldn't get out of bed. I was like so groggy and everything. Yeah. So
AJ,
47 years old.
My second Pfizer shot was terrible. I was vomiting for 1 whole week. No energy and vomiting. I tell you,
I could imagine.
Awful.
Surprisingly, my Moderna, my 2nd dosage, I felt quite okay. I felt more on the 1st dosage. I was actually having a lot of fever for the 1st one. So they say that usually if you get your side effects for the 1st one, the 2nd one you shouldn't be experiencing much at all.
Can we bring our focus back to the video then? So AJ, could you just share with us, we saw what you were trying to put across, why do you feel that it's important that we, let's say over here in Singapore, see this?
I am not going to discount what the federal nurse has said because, you know, she herself has taken, you know, the vaccination based on the pressures of her workplace. Therefore, she has to comply. But basically, for the person, her colleague, who took the vaccination despite after she came back from surgery. So that's an issue. I'm just thinking that why is that patient being asked to go for vaccination right after her surgery? Because that actually caused a complication that leads to her death. which is quite scary because, again, it's kind of like when she brought up things about the CDC and the FDA are providing misinformation that is very contradictory to the public. That really hits right home to me, because I do believe that as many of you guys are watching this video out there, I'm sure you definitely know of a very famous podcaster by the name of Joe Rogan. He's the host of Fear Factor. So basically, he got COVID. He was vaccinated as well. So apparently, when he actually went to see the doctor, and the doctor actually prescribed him to take ivermectin, which was actually shown in the video just now. But apparently, CNN, the mainstream media, start blasting him, saying that he's like now going against FDA rule, and therefore he should be charged. He should be this, and they're all looking out to like literally demonize him and cancel him. Given the cancel culture in US is so apparent these days, like they're saying that he's actually taking deworming horse tablets and stuff like that, and saying that Joe Rogan is now encouraging people to take ivermectin instead of going for the vaccine. And Joe Rogan was very mad. He was very mad. He actually really wanted to sue CNN for the fact that of spreading misinformation. How dare you say that I did not tell the society. I just happens to share on my podcast is they say by right it's not even allowed, but they do it because he is someone of a very high status and he got money, so therefore they prescribed to him, and that's why he was cured straight away. It was gone. So again, this brings out a very big question. CDC, in this case, Communal Disease Center in US. Again, this is what they feel that they provide a lot of misinformation. I shared with you guys about this friend that I have in LA who got COVID positive when he returned from his trip in Mexico. And you know what the CDC told him? He says that, as long as you show no symptoms after 10 days of quarantine, you are allowed to go to work and go to school. When he told me that, it's like, I'm going to do this once I get my second test. If I don't show any symptoms, right, I'm allowed to go and meet my clients, to go to Arkansas and to go to Sacramento. And I'm like, what? Are you freaking kidding me? I do not want to whistleblow on that person because that person is so-called my friends on my Facebook, but I have unfollowed him because I have been telling him to say that this is absolute travesty and this is bollock. I say, no wonder your country's COVID cases are rising up so high because I have no idea what your government has told you. It's literally misinformation, which is very worrying. How could you say the doctor told me, say that it's okay? This is BS, because if you are positive, you freaking hell stay at home. You don't come and spread your disease to other people or people who are come into contact with. Just because you don't show any symptoms, the things that inside you is asymptomatic. It could even spread to someone who's not vaccinated, who have gotten it from you, and it could have a different adverse effect on that person. So how could you be so selfish and so inconsiderate about that? I said, no, so long the doctor gave me I'm clear to go, I can start to travel. And I said, you know what? I want the doctor's name and I want the clinic that he's working at, because I want to question the CDC, because back in my country, which under the Commonwealth states, that still falls under the so-called same rules as UK, Australia, New Zealand, and Canada, we don't do shit like that. If you are COVID positive, you stay the fuck home until you are cured, until you are negative, you don't have anything in you, then you can go out. But this is what he told me, and he actually sent me a screenshot of the FDA and the CDC stating, said that if you don't have any symptoms after 10 days of quarantine, you can go back to work. What kind of nonsense is this? Some people in the country are still holding on to this information, which is very worrying. And you think, why is this pandemic is not being contained right now after 2 years?
Okay, one question, very quick one. Do you know that Singapore now is accepting all the foreigners, right? If they are ever positive, can they come down? Can they even land?
They'll be sent to a quarantine enclosed area.
I think they have to be tested before they get on the plane, and then after they get off the plane, they'll be tested again. And regardless of whether they are positive or negative, they'll be quarantined for 14 days.
Oh no.
Yeah.
Because sometimes even you tested with your home country, it could take 5 days for it to be dormant. So it's very hard to tell. It's very hard to tell.
Okay. So much heavy information is making me a little nauseous. I need to take a drink of my Coke, which may or may not be laced with a shot of vodka.
Okay, so
A
let's
generous shot of vodka on that too.
let's
Yeah, so on
do
that note,
the
shall we discuss some scandals,
yes.
Ernest?
Okay, now it's Know Your Scandal section.
Yes.
So my question for us today, very simple and very good that other people, all you guys out there can know us better. Okay, number one, very simple. Okay, first of all, I would like to introduce, this is the art piece I did for the German embassy for their light
Cool.
festival.
Very nice.
It was about friendship and how our bird of paradise is such a flower there that they sell it for very expensive over there in Germany. And
Oh my god, it
and
looks like a building actually. Okay.
it is the Singapore embassy in Germany.
Oh my god.
It's a light festival. So this is the Singapore embassy. So I represented Singapore in the German Light Festival there.
That's very nice.
And that's my art piece.
Oh.
Okay, so very simple question. What is your favorite color and your most disliked color and why?
So
Very
basic.
simple.
Well,
Yeah, but then there are special reasons why you don't like a certain color or you like a certain color. Okay, let me start. All right.
Okay.
My favorite color, honestly, is purple.
huh?
Raja.
Raja. I love purple because it's about royalty and all that. It's not here, not there. It's not gender biased, which to me is very
And do you
important.
know it's a color of bisexuality?
Oh, that's why it's
Yeah.
not gender biased, you see. So I love purple, and the different shades of purple is so nice. And also I love purple because I'm an army.
You like the arm?
Oh, okay. So the army is the BTS fan club.
Oh.
Okay. So
I thought you want to go and do NS again. Really?
we should be green, right? Army is but
Very
because of BTS, it's purple, and I'm always sending out purple hearts, and I love you, all the armies out there, and basically that's it. Why I love purple. But the most disliked, I won't say disliked, but the color I don't find very flattering for me is beige.
You look very naked.
Yeah, which some people like, but basically I find it very meh. And what happens was, when I was young, my parents used to buy me beige pants, as a kid, beige pants. And the thing about beige pants is when it gets a bit wet, there's a stain. It's so obvious. So when you get wet stains in very non-appropriate places, it's not good. You know what I mean? So to me, even now when I wear a beige shirt or a beige t-shirt, it's like once you get sweat stains, it's like no beige. I rather even chocolate brown or darker brown, but not beige, which is such a cool summer. Maybe 1 week we'll all do the beige thing. Maybe. All right. So next, who wants to go next?
I just thought that we can't have a green themed episode without my bottle of Qing Cao Yu. It doesn't show up.
Yes.
Right? Yeah. Because I smell it all the time when I teach. When I teach and the kids drive me crazy, I'll just reach for my bottle and.
You're so auntie, my god.
But is that your favorite color?
I used to say that I'm an auntie trapped in a young man's body, but I can't say that anymore.
Is that your favorite color, Steven?
My favorite color, right? My surname is Ang, and that's Hokkien for Hong in Chinese. Yeah. So it's not the same word as red, but it's the same sound as the color red. I remember that when I was in primary school, right? And like we were encouraged to color in the pictures of our workbooks, right? So after like let's say doing our Chinese homework, we can color in the pictures that's in the textbooks, to kind of have some fun with the homework, I suppose. And without my realization, right, I actually colored everything red, like red shirt, red pants, red toys, red bags, red everything. And then my teacher, after marking it, her remarks was like, why is everything in red color? But I suppose it is my favorite color. Yeah.
If I was writing a story, I would say everything is covered in blood.
Yeah, which is why I hate horror movies now, I suppose. It's like every day is the time of the month
Yeah.
for me.
So what's your most hated color, or you don't really like that color?
I like flashy colors, so things that are like earth tones. I don't hate them, but I suppose I'm just kind of neutral about them.
Steven love beige lah.
Beige.
He loves
If
nude
it,
colors.
yeah, I love to have a nude illusion every time I go out.
Yeah.
Not really. Yeah, I can't pull off like actual nudity unless it's like really, really, really dark. So I suppose a nude illusion will have to do.
Yeah.
Well,
AJ?
AJ, how about you? Favorite?
Well, basically, I think before I start on mine, right, I think, since Jonathan is not here with us today, but I think we all figure out what his favorite color is. It's definitely yellow. Right. So anyway, coming back to it, right, let's start off with my least favorite color.
Okay.
Basically, I can say that as a designer, aesthetic artist, we should appreciate all sorts of colors. But if we want to talk about maybe what my preference colors and my dispreference of it, let's start with yellow. Unfortunately, it's opposite of what Jonathan's favorite color is, because knowingly yellow is something that it represents to me like gangrene, jaundice, sick. And especially when I was studying in Australia and I have people calling me, "Hi, you yellow fellow, you yellow chink." And speaking of John, he's going to be
talking of yellow.
So basically, I will say very quickly, yellow is not my favorite color.
Oh my God, look who's here!
Yeah! Green!
Hi, John. Yeah, AJ was just talking about your favorite color. Yeah. What do you have to say about yellow, AJ?
Okay, wait. Jonathan, so we are doing the know your scandals. So today's question is, what's your favorite color and what's your least favorite color and why?
I have to go completely opposite of yellow, a contrast which is blue. So therefore, blue is one of my so-called go-to colors. It's my soul color as depicted in my horoscope. So blue is something like what I feel that it's a representation of tranquility, peace, and serenity. So blue is my color.
My IG handle is John the SG Yellow Fellow. So oh
no, I just said it out loud just now before you popped in.
Yes.
So actually,
why? Any reason?
It happened about 10 years ago. Yellow became like a coping mechanism for stress management. I was in a call center environment in one of our local telcos, and it was a very toxic environment. So as a form of coping with the stress and toxicity of the environment, I decided to adopt a color as a coping mechanism. So yellow was a very positive and very cheerful color. And most of the cartoon characters associated with yellow are also very happy and it's very stupid, happy kind of thing, like Sunshine Bear,
SpongeBob,
all the very
minions,
very happy characters, you see. So that's why it became a signature color for me. Yeah. So and the more yellow I become, the more people recognize it as a signature. So it's like even when I went out shopping the other day and I was dressed in yellow, people would say, "Oh, your favorite color is yellow." So yeah, it's become like a signature thing. So that's why I'm John the SG Yellow Fellow.
Okay. Cool. And then your least favorite?
Least favorite would be
the color you're wearing right now.
Is it? You don't like green?
No. Actually, not really. I don't really have a least favorite color.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
All right. Oh dear, look, I just dropped something. Let me go pick it up.
Yeah. So Steven want to show green ass.
Oh yeah. Okay, guys, what do you feel about Drag Race Holland? We have a winner! Yay!
AJS is safe.
Yeah. So too bad, suckers.
Ernest, how do you feel about AJ's not showing his ass?
Damn.
Let us know, how do you feel about the chosen winner?
AJ, you dropped something too.
What?
Didn't you? No?
No.
Do you have to
no,
bend over to pick it
not-
up? No?
It's okay, I'm so fantastic. So my arms can stretch all the way to the ground.
Yeah.
Okay,
Okay. What do we think of the final episode, guys?
It's so weird, right? The editing is so weird. I mean, like, this is like, out of all the franchises, I think this is the first time it was edited this way.
Like, I think we all can agree, right? Like from the beginning, like they start off with the Freds walking in. Like, who do that? I mean, do you normally see that on the normal drag race in US? Like RuPaul will just come into the runway, cover girl, put the bass in the right at the beginning of the episode. I'm like, what's going on? Like, are we running straight into the challenge? And then they start talking about what's happening at the beginning of the episode. I'm thinking that's really, really weird editing. And so far, they got Envy Peru as a guest judge, but at first I thought they're gonna have a reunion special, but
yeah,
you know, so somehow it was very structured, very weirdly, which I find.
So it's a reunion special and a regular episode, like combined.
Not even a reunion in the first place.
What do you guys think of Miss Congeniality?
It's the second time.
Get the old person to be Miss Congeniality. It's a given already. So now you're the oldest, you're the Miss Congeniality law.
It's like
so that's
Pupi from Espania. Pupi from Espania, yeah.
Well, I mean that season 7, you know, Tasha Davis or Tempest would be Miss Congeniality, wouldn't be Katia.
They're all girls, that's why.
Okay, can I just say that I like Vanessa than Katia. I know that her win is kind of controversial, and I do agree that it is kind of like skewed in the direction for her to get the crown, you know. And certain sacrifices have to be made for her to look like the best candidate out of the group. Yeah, I have to say I enjoyed her win. I enjoyed her final look. I wish that it could have been better directed to explain why she was bald. I thought that she was wearing a bald cap actually, you know, and then it turns out that she actually made the ultimate sacrifice and shaved her head fully before walking on stage. So I think that's commendable, you know. Anne Hathaway won an Oscar for shaving her head on camera. Why not? Why? So you know, I think it shows that she is fully ready to do everything it takes to win the crown. Yeah. So that's my thoughts.
Her speeches were also very politically correct. Her crying was also very politically correct.
Well, yeah, she has the best personal story. She wins the reality portion of the show. You know, because Drag Race is a reality show and a talent competition. Vanessa fully won the reality show side of things. Yeah.
Okay, so
what are your thoughts? Yeah.
I'm going to share my own thoughts. You can see the shade is there. So what I feel personally is that her finale look was definitely the most outstanding compared to the rest. Come on, how could you go wrong with gold? Gold means winning, means victory. If you don't win, then there must be something wrong. Then about the very fact that she has to wait until the very last finale look in order for her to be like the best looking of all, compared to Vivaldi's, compared to My Little Puny. In my opinion, I feel that My Little Puny's finale dress, you know, it wasn't outstanding, but even though I kind of rooted for her to win right from the beginning, but it was really sad because I kind of knew it that it's very rigged from the start. Firstly, they never even show us the journey of why she shaved her hair. Suddenly, it just came out of nowhere. She did the performance, she did the MTV, and then straight away, like she came into the final runway with the head shave. Like there is no consistency of that continuity to show that she has gone through that process. So how do you expect us from audience at home to feel for her journey? Oh, because she has her insecurities. She always feels that she's always self-conscious about her hair. So she decided to shave it all hair to reveal her beautiful side, to say that, you know what, without her hair in order to look beautiful. Yes, I get the concept, but it never shows us the journey. It's just quick, cut into it, which again, I blame it on editing. Secondly, I just find that the whole thing is so ironic because this is the second season in a row that a non-Dutch wins Drag Race Holland. So what are your thoughts on that, Jonathan?
It just shows that maybe they're more open-minded than the US counterparts. Yeah, so maybe
everywhere around the world actually, right? Yeah.
But it kind of gives that concept saying that Dutch queens don't really make it. So but maybe once, the very first round, yes, but then 2 times in a row, it kind of like sending a message saying that, oh, really, Dutch Queens doesn't have what it takes to win Drag Race Holland.
Okay, I just want to check for the US, the RuPaul Drag Race. All of them are from US because they
are based
Canada,
in the
right?
US.
Yes.
But they're based in the US.
Yeah. So either they have a green card or they are citizens or PRs.
Okay.
Yeah.
I know there's one from Australia that they went there. Who is from Canada, right?
Yeah.
Brooklyn is from Canada. Cognac is from Australia. Yeah. But they were working in the US at the time.
Working in the US.
Yeah.
Do you think they have a chance to win if it was in the States?
Good point.
You know what I'm trying to say? Because don't forget, Jonathan and I used to do pageants. A lot of the contestants that join the pageants are foreigners.
Yeah.
But honestly, do you think a foreigner can win?
But that's why later on in one of the pageants that I was helping out, they created a category for foreigners. So there is a chance for them to win in that category.
In that category, but they will not represent
the full
Singapore.
Pageant. Yeah.
You see? So like this one, like foreigners have won. Like the one UK. UK doesn't mean Europe, so can you imagine, UK, you must be from UK, which is huge, or the next one is Canada, right? Canada is big, you have so many places. If someone is from somewhere else, do you think they have a chance to become the winner?
Basically, I think other countries are more open concepts of having foreigners who win Drag Race. Like you take, for example, Canada Drag Race, you have Priyanka, who's originally from Asia, who is migrated to Canada, and obviously she won. So I guess at the end of the day, right, it's really not about what country you're from, but it's about the representation of what
How about Thailand?
Thailand, mostly Thais.
Both queens,
the
queens have
ones
been Thais.
who did originate from Thailand did not win.
Did not win.
Drag Race Thailand is the first international franchise to take in people who do not live in the host country. So they have had contestants from the Philippines / Hong Kong, one from the US and one from Singapore. Actually, the one in the US was living in Singapore at the time. So they were the first to do that. The US franchise. I mean, well, Raja won, and she has Indonesian heritage. She was born in the US, but from a young age she moved back to Indonesia, and then her family moved back to the States. So it's debatable whether you want to consider her a US citizen. She considers herself an American for sure. And she pretty much talks that way. Monet Exchange. Her family is from St. Lucia. I think she was born in New York, but they moved back to St. Lucia when she was still a baby, and then they moved back when she was like 10, 11, 12, that kind of adolescent age. So again, you want to debate as to whether she's American or St. Lucian,
And let's not forget.
I think she's kind of on the fence there.
There's going to be a Drag Race Philippines, is there?
There's going to be,
I'm so excited. I'm so excited because I don't know what. Okay, Philippines is big, huge, but can you imagine if the Thais go there and challenge them?
Thailand, so I do not know the aesthetic of the drags, but I do see maybe 1 or 2 episodes on the first season. I find that the drags are kind of very not as polished compared to the other counterparts for sure. So I can't make that joke.
Well, Fifi O'Hara said if an American Drag Race contestant goes to compete on Drag Race Thailand, she'll be eliminated first. So back to Holland. Do we give Drag Race Holland season 2 a woo or a boo or a woo? Let's start with Jonathan, since that was your idea.
Let's see. I would say a boo because because it was really very, very confusing in terms of the editing, and there's a lot of flag going on about Fred choosing the wrong queen. And if truth be told, if RuPaul really means what he says, he's gonna go after Fred.
Don't fuck it up.
Yeah, there's a lot to go after. Yeah.
Don't fuck it up.
Ernest, how about you? How do you
To
feel about?
me, it's definitely a boo because strangely, Fred wore the ugliest dress on the finale. Yeah, seriously, I think that was the ugliest.
Something against orange.
Yeah.
Sorry to say.
AJ, woo boo or woo hoo? Yeah. For me, yeah. For me, right, I feel that I have a high tolerance for bullshit, you know. Like I'm usually am the person that likes something even though everyone else around me hates it. Yeah. I'm sorry, Holland season 2, but it's a boo from all of us.
Yeah,
Boo.
boo.
Okay, so UK season 3, best moments. AJ, would you like to start first? How did you find it? Okay, Jonathan, you. Yeah, what would you like to say first? Well, someone say something. Okay, for me, right, the most memorable thing about the premiere episode are two catchphrases in the confessionals. Yeah, one is the famous Theresa May line, right? The thing that I like most about Newcastle is my boyfriend's dick.
Yes.
We have a very strong group of queens this season.
Yeah.
They are not to be fucked around with.
Yeah.
They are not to be fucked around with. And even the first one who's been sashayed away, right? She's actually a very strong queen. It's just unfortunate. You know, River Medway is like one of the true Asian representative. And for the first time, I actually see a true Asian representative that is really funny and to watch out for. And I'm kind of secretly rooting for her, not because of her story, that the fact that she lost his mom to COVID, you know, just 2 weeks prior getting the call, which was very heart-wrenching. But, you know, something about her that I feel that she's someone to root for. And by her confession, she said that, you know, she wants to remain pretty low profile, like a dark horse of it. And I really hope she remains this way. And given her last runway, right, I'm a bit quite nervous of her. And I really hope that she doesn't step into the Asian representative of basic drag, because that's what Asian representative drag has been all about the last, you know, for all other countries as well. So come on, we need to have an Asian representative who knows the drag shit well. Come on, you know, step up the plate. Okay, so you know, there you go.
Okay, well, although having said what I just said, right, I am of the belief that if you've made it to Drag Race, that's already a big achievement. So even if you're the first to go, it is still an achievement to be proud of. Yeah. So no matter where she places, I'm still proud of her, and I believe I can speak for everyone here. We are still proud of you, regardless of what the results are. Yeah, and Asian, you're right. She is very funny. Yeah, she is very funny. I think that's more of a British trait than a Singaporean trait, actually. Yeah. Okay, right. Who's next?
But her music was scary. Yeah, I was like, okay. I thought she was going to lip sync. I thought she was going to have to lip sync. I really thought she was going to lip sync.
Really nervous.
Yeah.
Like, wow.
But honestly, that squid makeup, I was like, huh? I was like, what? Okay, you had a squid on your head, right? But then for the drip, like, it's like the squid come on him like that, like black. So it was like you know, the thing is, it was so, and I think he was the tallest against the shortest.
Oh yeah,
right. It was the tallest contestant against the shortest contestant. It was so
I tell you, everybody better watch out for Electra fans, okay? Everybody better watch out.
But again, right, let's see how long Electra fans, because okay, it seems very good for the gimmick, right? But how many gimmicky lip syncs you're going to do? Maybe what happens if it's a ballad? Do you think you can do those gimmicky lip syncs? Not really. So again, then it also goes by the track record. If you're kind of like you're the second, 3 times or 4th times in a row, right, at the bottom, right? Come on, you better jolly well get your ass out of the game, you know. All right, we forgot to have one little segment that we actually missed out last week, and therefore last week we talked about OnlyFans standout. So me and Steven have shared about it, but we're missing out on Ernest and Jonathan. So we would like both of them to share what is your what would your OnlyFans account will be like, and how would you make it stand out? So Ernest, you go first since you
I
started.
go first. Okay, since you persist on it, I have this dream that my OnlyFans will be about my friends making out, like Steven and AJ, like both of you having wild sex together. You know, I think it will make a lot of money for me. Or
That's
AJ and
nonsense.
Jonathan, or
Anyhow,
Steven and Jonathan. I think that is my thing. It goes like Ernest OnlyFans with friends. So I will be shooting the thing, you know, and all my friends will make up. I can imagine which position Steven and AJ in, then AJ and Jonathan, and then on the anniversary, like the 10th anniversary, all three of you. It'll be so fun. You know,
Just the three of us.
Yeah, three
You
of
have
us.
three of us.
take
Then
part
after
in
that,
it.
right? Then we slowly get the fourth person. I'm moving
Yeah,
from there.
slowly get the fourth person, and then maybe like first week is three of you in drag, making out, having sex, and then the next one, three of you peeing on each other, and then the next one, because once you told me about your fetishes, that would be so fun, right? Correct. Okay, so Jonathan, what is your special thing about OnlyFans that you can do?
Well, it's very similar to Steven's because one thing, I mean, I identify as asexual, so I don't really have much sexual turn-ons. But however, I do like Steven, like storylines. So mine will be a very, very long-running series about all the hunkiest people in Singapore, having all kinds of salacious and scandalous storylines.
Oh
my
my storyline is just three of my friends, Steven, AJ, and Jonathan, meeting up for tea.
Okay. I have the perfect scenario for Jonathan. Yeah. So you're working in a kind of Brazilian wax joint, right? So Jonathan is working there, and then all the hunky men come, and they're hairy all over the place. So they need John to kind of wax them and pull their hair out.
No. That doesn't work. It has to be the other way around. As in,
No, but then you convince them, you see. They pay you to do the job, then you convince them, are you sure you want to rip it all off? How can you convince me? How can I convince you otherwise?
No, it's the other way around. It's like Bro Hall, where you implant hairs into people. So all these people come to the parlor, and I'll be the one implanting all the hairs into them.
So Jonathan loves his man hairy. So instead of waxing, right, he will implant the hairs back. So we all know that will be the only special mediocrity. So Jonathan, if you do that, right, how would you implant hair on my face? Because I actually would love to have facial hair. You know, I would like to have a beard. Maybe some of you do not know. I'd like to be a hairy daddy or so. Unfortunately,
like Steven. Steven, start shaving quick. Is your shaver around? Quick. Every time. Shave, quick, yeah.
Well, where do you want me to shave, Ernest?
Where do you want to shave?
Can I just say anything, Ernest, anything is possible for the right price. Okay.
Okay.
And of course, you know what? We are men of a certain age, but we have an expert on filters in our group. Yeah. So I'm sure you'll be very generous, very expert with application of the filters in all the right areas. Yeah,
Okay.
I want everything, for me, I want everything to look very smooth, very flawless, and I don't just mean the face, okay? So that's all we have for today. Please remember to like, comment, and subscribe. And as usual, we hope that you will stay scandalized.
And healthy.
And
Stay
healthy.
safe.
Oh.